1. Welcome to Made for More Living.
One small step for man.
With Johnny Jennings.
Kick the tires and light the fires, Big Daddy.
The fastest and most exciting hour of news, events, and real estate in Northern California.
And this is a fact that was proved.
Powered by EXP Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Get ready. Here we go.
Chocolate chip pancakes. That's what we're talking about today on the show. My name is Johnny Jennings. I promise this has something to do with real estate, and we have a special guest with us as well. Her name, well, before I tell you her name, she's my ex-girlfriend. She's still draining the wallet.
Wow. Can you believe you just said that? Who actually drains the wallet more in your family? Valary.
He does, for sure.
Just for clarification, it's Valary. She's my wife, lovely wife. We have one kid and one kid on the way. And we are going to be talking. I want to tell a little quick story, and it has to do with chocolate chip pancakes.
I love on the weekends waking up and making my kids chocolate chip pancakes. Oh my gosh. Put a little bit of vanilla in them and cinnamon.
Ooh.
Yeah, my kids
level.
love them. That's right. You got it. And sometimes I'll put them into shapes like Mickey Mouse or something like that.
Love it. Well, that's kind of what. So what happened? So the chocolate chip pancake story. I woke up. Valary and I work a lot, and so we don't always get to see Jack. Jack's our 2-year-old, as much as we would hope to, and as often as he would like to see us. And so I woke up. It was Saturday morning. I was going to be spending the morning with him. We were going to have chocolate chip pancakes, and you know, in this industry, it can be busy. And we got a call at 7:45 in the morning. Like I had just woken him up, like just gotten him out of bed. The coffee was brewing. Valary's making the pancakes. Like we are ready to go. We were having a chocolate chip pancake Saturday. And the phone rings. Answer the phone, and it's a neighbor from one of the listings we have, and they called the number on the for sale sign, and they said the lights were on in the house. And you know, you're probably thinking, okay, Johnny, people live in homes. What's the big deal? Well, this particular home happened to be vacant, so the lights are not supposed to be on. And what happened so I'm hoping somebody just left, like another agent just left the lights on.
Sure.
Right? Somebody
Somebody did a showing and they left the closet light on or the hallway light on.
Simple as that. But in the off case that somebody's in the home that's not supposed to be, we put chocolate chip pancakes on hold, and I hop in the car and I head to the home. And while I'm driving there, I call a buddy agent just in case there's somebody there. He shows up, and we show up at the property, and there's a homeless lady in the garage. And the garage is detached, and I'm thinking, okay, this is weird. Why is there a homeless lady in the garage, and why are the lights on in the house? Like, I'm still trying to put the pieces together. So we start talking with her, and we come to find out that she was kicked out of the home, which is kind of ironic because she's not even supposed to be in the home in the first place.
Like a foreclosure? Or what do you mean kicked out of the home? So
her druggy boyfriend, they broke into this house together, he had kicked her out of the home neither of them were supposed to be in.
Oh, wow, interesting.
And so she was in the garage and hanging out there with her purse and a scooter, you know? And so like trying to figure out what's going on, call the cops.
So wait a second, back up, because this is super interesting. What did she say when she saw you? Like, oh, good morning.
She's like, I need you to let me back into my house.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like,
You're like, that's not your house.
This isn't your house, darling. And so call the cops. And so this is honestly a shout out to the Sacramento PD. They were there like 15 minutes, very, very quick. Showed up, 2 officers, male and female, very professional, very nice. Like there's a lot of, press around the cops these days. And I just wanted to make sure that, this was a very positive interaction. So they're talking with respect and kindness to the homeless lady. Then she's telling us about how her boyfriend's in the house. So they go up, so we unlock the house, the cops go in there and they can't find anybody. And so once they've cleared the home, they allow myself and my other real estate friend to come in and assess the situation. And what blew us away, because mind you, this woman just has a scooter. Like it's not like, and she's homeless. The cops knew who she was. They'd seen her before down by the river, and there was so much stuff in the house, but not junk, like good, like quality, like new pots and pans, new plates, new towels, new bath mats, a refrigerator full of food. And I'm thinking, how did all this happen in just 24, maybe 48 hours? How did this woman on her scooter get all this stuff in here? And around that time, a car pulls up into the driveway. and they come whipping in, and these two women pop out, and come to find out it's the homeless woman's mother and sister.
Okay.
And
the police are still there at the time?
The police are still there, and they're handling the situation, and I'm standing back, and I get to observe what's going on. And as I'm watching, I'm like, what's going on? I'm trying to put these pieces together. Like, there's all this food, there's all this new stuff. They're saying that this is her house, and she's kind of avoiding, the homeless woman is avoiding everybody else's, especially the two people who just pulled up. She's not looking at them. And at that moment, it dawned on me, oh my gosh, I know what's going on. That's her mom and her sister who just pulled up in the car. And they're the ones who bought the pots and the pans and the plates and the bath towels.
Oh, she had told them that was her house.
That she was finally getting clean.
Oh, wow.
And that she had moved, and she was putting her life back together. Yeah. And so thankfully, the law enforcement was there. They were super helpful. We're taking everything out of the house and loading it up in the car so it's not getting ruined. Like, everybody's being very, very respectful. But it just dawned on me, like, how crazy this real estate industry is, and how many people are like going through hard times. And just the biggest takeaway though was how much people need, like, they need help. They need help. And so whether it's buying a home or it's getting clean, or you need quality people around you. Like, your tribe really determines the outcome of your life. And so I was so thankful that, that we had the cops and everybody there. And so after they left, I met with the homeowners, and, we put a game plan on how to get everything cleaned up and ready to go. The house was still in great condition because she was treating it like her own home. It was very well maintained. And that was my morning. And so I didn't get to have chocolate chip pancakes. Didn't get to have chocolate chip pancakes with Jack. But as Valary always likes to point out, Johnny, there's a silver lining to every situation. And the silver lining is that I had a listing, or we have listings. We've taken many listings since then. We picked up an additional 6 or 7 that week, and we have business, and that we're able to provide for our families and provide for our team, and our team opened up 4 escrows later that week. And so the silver lining is, you work in this industry long enough, you're going to come across rough situations every now and then, but at least we're succeeding, because life's hard. Whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a mom, whatever it is, life's hard. And so we get to choose our hard. And our hard was that day I had to forego chocolate chip pancakes. But the good news is the homeowner's home has been restored. Everything's great with that, and the woman's getting some help. So you didn't necessarily go over that when you were getting your real estate license. If you run into this situation, here's the procedures and what you should do. That's something you got to learn on the job, right? Yeah, that's on the job training, and it's there's 1,000 stories like that. They're all a little bit different. I'm one of these days I'll probably put together a book, but the biggest takeaway, if you're listening to this, is just like, man, it is a tough job out there being a real estate agent. And people see somebody roll up in a nice car and think they have it made. But the average realtor, man, they only making like $50,000, $55,000 a year is the national average. And so what you see is sometimes not reality. When you come into somebody's home, what you see is sometimes not reality, right? Right. And so it's just having empathy and it's tough, most realtors are working weekends, like you said. Sometimes they don't get to spend as much time as they want with their family, because sometimes they're doing evening showings, right? And so it's almost like a 24/7 job. You're on call all the time in case you get a call from a client and they want to do this and you want to do that. So, and there's a lot of pressure because you don't make money until you sell a house or help someone buy a house, right? Yep. And so there's that added pressure, so you're right. A lot of realtors get a bad rap when you come across someone, and everyone doesn't realize that it is a tough job. It is a tough job, but what goes back to the tribe thing. We'll talk about this a little bit more, but essentially you need good people around. You need help when you have contract questions. You need help when you have vendors suggest problems like, I can't get this vendor out here. How do I get somebody out here to solve this problem? Because when somebody's buying or selling a house, Valary, you can speak to this, that is stressful. Like, they equate it to like deaths in the family, going through divorce, and making a move is some of the more stressful things a person will go through in life. And so for me, it's just another just another Wednesday or just another Saturday. For them, it's a huge deal. And so, anyways, chocolate chip pancake. So next time you see,
I'm curious, who deals better with situations like that? Do situations like that stress you out more, or Valary, do situations like that stress you out?
A homeless person squatting in a listing.
How would you have responded in a situation like that?
Probably a bit more stressed out. Yeah. I did send Johnny. I was like, I'm not doing this. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm also pregnant, though.
Right. True.
So what I'll say is that Valary tends to deal better with customers, like walking them through, like empathizing with them in the situation. Mm-hmm. I tend to deal better with like logistical, contract, like those types of things. But Valary's very, like, I don't know, she's lovely. So
it's cool. Yeah, a lot of people think, wow, I don't know how I would do working with my wife side by side. But you guys love it, and you're doing great, right?
Well, I will say when it's... Yes.
I don't like a response that says, well...
I don't know, Gorgeous, how would you describe it?
Well, a lot of people ask us this question, and in all honesty, we started working together I'd just gotten out of college, so I don't really know any different, just to preface it that way.
Sure.
But, I think it does take time for people to figure out their groove together. Like, how do we be husband and wife and business partners at the same time? So, if it's like the first year or two is rough, I always tell people, like, give it time. You just have to figure out your role.
Yeah.
Whose role is what.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit, like who pays the bills. And you and I looked at each other like, we each said the other person did, right? Mm-hmm. But I tend to pay more business stuff, and you tend to pay more of like personal life, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like utilities, groceries, things like that.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yep. And Hal, here you are doing your own show together.
And now here we are doing a show together. So to answer your question, when it's great, there's nothing better. But when business is rough and stress is high, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. It's going to be a good show. What are we talking about next?
So next, we're going to be talking about the value of your tribe and what that does and how that improves not only your quality of your experience when buying or selling a home, but also your career as a real estate agent.
All right, awesome. He's Johnny Jennings, Valary Jennings. This is the Made for More Living show. Stick around. All right, so maybe you're listening to our conversation today and it's stirring some thoughts of you possibly selling your home, but you're thinking, man, I've got these home improvement projects that have to be done before my home is ready to be put on the market. Here's some good news. Johnny Jennings, the host of this show, and his team over at the Tom Daves Real Estate Team, they have this program to help you get those home improvement projects done, even if you don't have the time or the money. So all you got to do is go to tomdaves.com, type in your address, and bam, you'll get all that information. TomDaves.com, or you can call 855-TOM-DAVES.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
We are going to talk about your tribe. So I'm not talking about, Native Americans or anything like that, but what we are talking about is an ancient African proverb. It goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, I like that. That's interesting, because there's so much wisdom and truth in that, because you're right. If you want to go fast, sometimes you got to do it alone. So, you're in control and you're making the decisions. But if you want, but you can only go so far doing that way.
Yep, you'll burn up.
That's great. I love that. But if you want to go the distance, right, you want to reach the finish line, you need some people around you to help you do that. I love that. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yep, old African proverb. And
I didn't know you were from Africa.
Well, I think
you don't look it.
You go far back in the tree. I think you can. We all
probably
we all originate there, but
exactly.
So what that has to do with real estate and just being involved in this industry is just the value of who you are, who you are, and who you are around. So if you're a level 10 human being, but you're surrounded by a bunch of level 7s, well, guess what? They're going to pull you down to your level. If you're a level 8 and you're around a bunch of level 10s, they're going to pull you up to level 9. And so
that's why I hang around you.
I was going to say the same thing about you.
Aw.
Hashtag bromance.
And then that's why we both upgraded when we got married, right? We married 10s.
Yep.
And here we are, a bunch of 4s, right?
Yep. I'm still a 4. Even though I'm married to 10, I'm still a 4.
Right.
I'm working on being a 5. Yeah, so speaking of that, we have on the show my lovely wife, Miss Valary Jennings. She's also a real estate broker with the Made for More team. So, sweetheart, wanted to talk really quickly about on-demand brokers and what that means, at least as far as it goes with us and our real estate team. And you are the go-to person. So you're the on-demand broker. And when somebody, if it's a client and they have a question, sometimes, just your agent doesn't know the answer to it. They have to go to a broker. They have to go to Queen Valary. What are the type of questions you're typically fielding, and how does all that work?
Well, I mean, it's from anything as basic as, do I check this box on the offer that I'm writing, or, how does the escrow process work, and what are the next steps? Questions like that, to more complicated, how do I do 2 transactions at once? My client wants to sell their home and buy another home at the same time. Much more complex things that we encounter throughout the escrow process. But basically how that works for our agents is they call or text me up and say, hey, I have this question. My client's asking me X, Y, or Z. How do I answer them? What's the correct response? And then I'll walk them through like the logistics of how to have that conversation. So you're even empowered with the words to say to make sure that you tell your client in a manner that they're going to understand it as well. Yep.
Convey the message. And if you're thinking of this and you're thinking, oh, my agent doesn't need a broker. My agent has everything figured out. Tell you what, we learn something new every single day. Closed thousands of transactions together and still learning new things all the time. The industry is rapidly evolving and changing. And when it comes to, and here's an interesting fact, about 90% of real estate agents don't sell a home a month.
Don't sell a home a month.
Do not
Correct.
sell a home
On
a month.
average, what do they usually do?
Less than that.
Okay.
Less than that, like half a home a month. Yeah, so that leaves
It's about
only
6 homes a year or so.
That leaves about 10% of the agents doing 90% of the business. And so that's why it's so important when you're working with a realtor that either if they're newer to the industry, that they have a Valary, or they have somebody like that backing them up, because there are so many things that come up in a real estate transaction, and we cannot put a dollar value on it. And the value to the client is, hey, I am being taken care of. This isn't just a regular realtor. This is a broker. Like every transaction that we do is backed by a broker. All of our agents are constantly calling Valary and reaching out to her and getting the backing and support of a broker, a real estate broker.
Yeah, and even some of the very successful realtors that I've talked with or that I know personally, they have someone like that on call, ready on the cell phone. Let me ask Becky. Let me ask Valary. Call them up. And that's why one of the reasons why they're successful is they don't have all the answers, but you know what? They have someone ready on the cell phone that has all of those answers, and that's one of the keys to their success.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to that tribe mentality. So Valary, there's an agent on our team who we're trying to, we won't say names, we won't do any of that, but who was writing an offer. And I think there was 7 different offers on this similar home.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And with Valary's help, he was able to get his offer accepted. Right. And I guarantee that would not have happened if you didn't have somebody like Valary backing you up and giving you the verbiage, the stuff to put in the contract. And it doesn't mean you have to pay the most amount of money.
Nope.
It has a lot to do with the terms and has a lot to do with that agent's relationship with the buyer and the agent's relationship with the listing agent, right? Those two, because again, only 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business. Valary runs into the same agents over and over and over again. And so she's able to leverage her relational capital into getting deals done.
So Valary, how did you help that realtor in a situation like that? Where does your expertise and help come in?
Yeah, just giving other, like Johnny said, it's not always about the money, but giving other non-monetary ways to make your offer look better. Some agent that maybe hasn't written as many offers, sometimes they don't understand really what looks appealing to a seller, right? Or been on the other side, what, as me who represents a lot of sellers, what do my clients look for in the offers that they're receiving on their homes? Like fast time frames, that has nothing to do with money. We're just, we're willing to show up and hustle and get it done quickly, making sure that the agent knows that on the other side.
And it has a lot to do with knowing what questions to ask the listing agent.
Yep.
So like, what is your client looking for? What's most important to your client? Are they more open to this or more open to that? Do they want this? And just knowing the questions to ask really like communication is key, right? In any relationship, especially in a business relationship like this, like knowing the right questions to ask can really go a long ways in getting your offer accepted in a multi-offer situation. Yep. And so speaking of getting the offers accepted, with the same example, the offer is accepted, everybody's happy, boom, we beat out 7 other buyers. Now we're in escrow and the lender threw a curveball, right? And they're like, okay, you need to, even though this is a conventional loan, we are requiring this inspection to be done, which isn't typical for this loan. And so what happened there, Val?
Yeah, so again, based on my experience, I'm like, okay, call the lender, have a conversation. What exactly specifically do we need? Okay, now my next step is to go problem solve. So I call up a vendor that we have a really great relationship with, and I'm like, hey, this is the problem. We need it done ASAP because we're in the middle of escrow. We're supposed to close in a week and a half, and what can you do to help? Like, we need this issue resolved for our clients, for the seller on the other side and our buyer as well. And she's like, I'm on it. We got it handled today. And it's all about knowing who you can reach out to and who that will solve that problem. And that goes back to the relationships that you were talking about, Johnny. Like, this is somebody that we've known for years. We know we can count on them and their company, and, just to get to the job done for our people.
And so many people focus on the money. Like, hey, what are the commissions? How much is this going to cost me? They focus on the dollar symbol, but the real value is in those relationships with the brokers, with the vendors, because not everybody can get a vendor out there like how we did next day, right, and get it resolved that quickly. Right. And while that didn't cost anybody any money, it sure saved them a whole lot of money. And it's just hard to quantify something like that. Right. But that's the value in having on-demand broker and on-demand vendors.
And looking at Valary and what she did, she hustled. So even when you have certain people on your tribe or in your group, you got to have people that are quality, right? Like you said, people that are a 10, that are willing to hustle and make those phone calls and go out there the same day and do those kind of things. And that's what Valary does, and that's why she's a benefit in situations like that.
Yep.
Right?
The most important, the biggest killer of deals, generally speaking, is time. The longer it takes to find a solution, the longer it takes for your agent to get back to you, the longer it takes for you to hear back from a vendor, that deal is dying. That transaction is dying. And so the faster you can get that situation resolved, the more likely you are to come to a favorable outcome. So it's very important not to only have quality, but people who, like you mentioned, Matt, who are willing to work hard and work fast for you. Yeah. And Valary's that in spades.
Well, not only just me, but, all the agents that work with us on our team, like, they're spectacular human beings, and, their clients are lucky to work with them as well, because they're in the same boat. Like, they're hustling, they're out there making it happen. They're like, what do I do next to make sure that my client gets into this home? And, we feel lucky to have all of them in our tribe too.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have them in our tribe, and we're very selective on who we bring on, like who we're willing to associate with. If you fog a mirror, you can get a job as a real estate agent. But if you fog a mirror, that doesn't mean you're joining the Made for More team.
Wait a second. I'm confused. Explain that again.
If you have a pulse.
Fog a mirror.
Oh, gotcha.
If you're breathing.
Johnny and his funny phrases.
You have to have more than that.
Yes.
Right. Is that an old African tribal proverb as well?
No, that's a Kalingaism.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I don't know. Whenever I think of a fog mirror, I think of some kind of serial killer in a bathroom.
Oh gosh.
So I didn't know where you were going with that, but now it makes sense.
That's a different story.
Right.
That's a different story. Yeah.
We've got a whole nother realtor testimony about that one.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but hey, hang in there. We're going to be coming back in just a second, and when we do, we will be talking about why buyers lose out when in a multi-offer situation. What's the number one reason why buyers lose, and what you can do about it? Thanks for listening to the Made for More Living podcast.
All right, let's be honest today. The economy is not in great shape. And many of you are struggling financially, and you feel like, hey, if I could sell my home, I'd be in a better position financially. Well, Johnny Jennings can help with that. He can make the process smooth, and he can get it done fast. All you have to do is go to TomDaves.com, because Johnny Jennings is part of the Tom Daves real estate team. Go to TomDaves.com, type in your address. Bam, right away you find out what kind of offers you would get and how much you would get if you wanted a cash offer today, no matter what kind of condition your home is is in. The website again is TomDaves.com, or call Johnny Jennings at 855-TOM-DAVES.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
These 5 letters make all the difference in a real estate transaction. Hello, my name is Johnny Jennings. I am the host of the Made for More Living podcast, and we have Valary Jennings with us as well, who's also a real estate broker. Say hello, Val.
Hello.
So those 5 letters, what are those 5 all-important letters? Trust. Trust. That is what makes or breaks a real estate transaction. For example, Valary, when we were working with some friends, and they were wanting to sell their home and then buy another home, but they were worried that they were going to be homeless, right?
Yeah, which I mean is very, very common. Everybody's in the same boat when they're selling a home and they want to either downsize or upsize or change their house location or whatever the case is, right?
Unless you're dead. Unless it's a trust thing, right?
Yeah. Every seller's like, well, where am I going to go? I'm not going to put my house up on the market until I find another house, right? And that's very logical. I understand that. But it comes back to what we were talking about, trust. There's all kinds of ways that we can protect you when you're putting your house up on the market to make sure that you're not in that homeless situation, right? Yeah. That's not our goal.
But if you don't trust the real estate agent, then it's really like, why are you working with that person? Like, why, if you trust them enough to begin the process with them, why do you not trust them enough to listen to them? So in this specific situation, they were not trusting us, right? Or to you, they were your clients. They were not trusting you. How many offers did they put in on homes?
Probably about 6 or 7 homes that we wrote, contingent upon them selling the house that they already owned, but they did not have it on the market yet. So these contingent offers were just falling flat on their face. The sellers of those homes were like, well, no, why would I accept your offer when your house isn't even listed? So now I have to wait for you to put it on the market, find a buyer, negotiate, get all the way through escrow. And, who knows, that may take 2 or 3 months down the line. And I'm not willing to wait that long, right?
Especially in today's market. And so they missed out on 6 or 7 homes. So that's another way to phrase it. Like, we wrote 6 or 7 contracts. That's the real estate agent's perspective. But from that buyer's perspective, they missed out on 6 or 7 homes. 6 or 7 homes that they loved, that they could see themselves moving into, that they could see spending years there, right? The next 7 to 10 to 20 years of their life in this place. And they missed out 7 different times. Valerie, what happened, though, when they decided to trust you and put their home on the market?
Yeah, then, everything changed. So once the house was listed, the sellers of the homes that we were submitting offers on, they could see, oh, that is a beautiful home. They did upgrade it with all the sparkling pool, and look at all the showings that they've been getting on Zillow. They're looking at these things where they can actually, it's a tangible experience for the seller now. They're like, okay, yeah, I do feel comfortable moving forward with your offer, knowing what a great house you have and the fact that it will likely be in escrow here shortly. Sure enough, it did go pending. We got their offer accepted, first one out the gate after we put their house on the market. So,
right. So they were unsuccessful, let's say 7 times. And then the 8th time they got in contract. See, isn't that incredible what trust will do, though?
Yeah.
Like in a real estate transaction. Now compare that to another person we were helping with. We can never get past that trust hurdle. Like even though we worked with them, we helped them get pre-approved. We showed them countless homes. I think you were working with this individual for, what was it, like a year?
Yeah, almost a year. Maybe 9 or 10 months, something like that. It was definitely enough to get through a whole summer buying season and then some. Unfortunately, this buyer that I was working with just never really got over that hurdle of, not asking for advice from other places and not trying to make their own decisions based on whatever they Googled about certain things. And
that's a really good point. So we run into that a lot because you throw a rock, you hit 5 real estate agents, and so there's potentially 5 different people speaking into this person's life and giving them what they would do if they were in their situation or how they would handle things differently. And if you are listening to 5 different conflicting, stories or perspectives, it's really hard to make a decision. Like, what's the right decision for you? But so this person was getting information from other sources and not trusting the person who he was actually working with. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And it happens all the time, with somebody's parents. Obviously I'm not saying don't trust your parents, but
dads.
Gotta
love dads.
The dads or the uncles, or like they bought a house once 10 or 15 years ago and then once more 10 years before that. So they've bought 2 homes in their house, in
their life, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this is the person that they're looking to for advice, which, no offense, I'm sure it's great advice, but I sell 2 homes a week sometimes. It's like this, would you rather take advice from somebody who does this once a decade, but it is what it is. So people are going to look for advice in other places. And, unfortunately, the real estate agent is the one that you need to default back on and to put your trust in that person.
But it really goes back to trust. Like you trust your dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we joke all the time. Dads are deal killers because dad will come in with his tape measure and a screwdriver and a flashlight on inspection day. And it's like, oh no, here we go. Nothing's going to be good enough for his little princess.
Oh, classic.
This is a new build, man. Come on. This is like, it's a new home.
Right.
But nope, it's not. It's never good enough. And so, but the daughter has her dad there, or the family has their relative there because of that trust.
Right.
And so if you're working with a real estate agent, let's finish it up with that other fellow.
Yeah. Putting a bow on that story, this was back in 2019, and I don't know if you've been following home prices since then, but prices have definitely gone up. And, unfortunately, that particular buyer is now feeling upset about being priced out of the market. And, I could have had $150,000 worth of appreciation in those homes if I had just listened to my agent and gotten my offer accepted on one of these homes back in 2019. So, potentially leaving a lot of money on the table, too, with just not making it happen.
Not all stories have a happy ending in real estate.
Oh, yeah. Very true.
Yeah, it's not a Disney World.
No.
And so, but it really comes down to trusting your real estate agent. If you don't trust that agent, so there's a guy who who's a coach and mentor of mine. I try to have one coach per aspect of life. So if it has to do with family and counseling, like there's one group that I go to, like it's a husband and wife. They have experience in what they're talking about. They've lived it. They've been married like I think 50-ish years now. They've raised kids. Like they have that family thing locked in. I listen to them more than I listen to our parents, more than I listen to friends and family, because what happens is I start getting conflicting information. Then and then I start making my own decisions and making modifying the good advice. I start distorting it into something that is more palatable to me, something that I can deal with. Same thing with health. Like there's just one group I go to when it comes to health. When it comes to real estate, like are you getting advice from somebody who maybe should only be speaking about health, or should maybe only speaking about family, or are you getting real estate advice from somebody who knows all about real estate? And so if you're finding yourself not being successful in your home buying or your home selling journey, I would encourage you just to take a step back.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt. What?
And it's probably the same answer for both questions. If I am searching for a realtor, someone to represent me in purchasing my home or selling my home, what are the characteristics that I should look for in someone that I can trust? And on the other side, if I'm a realtor, how do I build trust with my new client?
Yeah, good questions. So, Val, do you have any input you want to share?
I mean, the first place you could start is just reviews, like a track record of success, right? Somebody who has not only other clients that they've worked with that really enjoyed working with them, but also, years of experience or, a team to back them up with lots of sales under their belt, not somebody who, is just kind of floating out there and has done one deal in the past. They may not, be the best person to work with.
When you're looking for realtors, it would be like interviewing for a position. You're the employer, you're hiring somebody. So when you're looking to hire a CPA or an attorney or a doctor, right? You're looking at what do the reviews say? If you're going out for dinner, for Pete's sake, you look at the reviews. Why would you not look at the reviews of the real estate agent who you're going to be working with? Okay, so that's the main thing, and then also just in that
So if you're a realtor
Yeah.
and you're talking with a potential client, you would share with them, hey, here's how many homes I've sold. Here's how long I've been working in the industry. Here's the markets I've worked in. Here's some reviews from people I've worked with in the last 6 months. So kind of share that information so that they can understand. Because I don't know if all realtors do that. It's like, how did you find me? Well, thanks. And that's great. How about, build that trust? Because down the road, they're going to have to trust you in those situations where you're writing those contracts and you want to build that trust. So establish that from the get-go. Hey, I know what I'm doing. Look at my track record. Look at my resume. Look at how many satisfied customers I have. I know what I'm doing. So you're going to be happy with the results I get you.
Yep. So if you're an agent, you want to have third-party sources. So think Trustpilot, think Yelp, think Google reviews, think Zillow reviews. Like you want third-party things that you can share with your clients that prove, hey, it's not just me. I didn't write up 5 reviews fictitiously and I'm sharing these with you. Like the client can go and see these independently of you. And then if you're a client, you want to be looking for those types of tells. So that's one way that you can interview. The other way is just to ask them specific questions. So I work a lot with sellers. And I'm always telling my potential clients, hey, if you're interviewing other people, you need to be asking the other agents you're interviewing a few questions. Questions like, what's your average days on market? What's your average sales price to list price? What's the average sales price to list price in my neighborhood? What's the average days on market in my neighborhood? Like there's certain questions you can ask. And if the agent starts fumbling or seems unsure, well, those are pretty basic questions. And if they can't handle that, then how are they going to handle negotiations? How are they going to handle marketing your property? And so just being armed with certain questions can also help.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. And this applies on when you're buying a home as well, too. Like we've been talking a lot about writing offers, and it's really common to sit down at the living room, or the kitchen table or wherever you're sitting with sellers and talk about your skill set and what I'm going to do for you and all that, but it's as a buyer, you should also be interviewing your agent as well. Say, hey, what are you going to do for me to make sure that this happens in the time frame that I need it? Or, what's your track record of success with getting buyers into homes?
Yep.
Like what I'm looking for.
That's the biggest problem that we see with agents and clients, like in terms of the trust factor. Like trust has not been built because, especially in the buyer situation, people haven't sat down and gone over, this is me, these are my qualifications, this is why I know what I'm going to do, this is our game plan. Like, what is it you're looking for in a home? So I understand exactly what it is you're looking for, the locations, the price range, the amenities. So that way we're all on the same page. If you don't have that initial consult, that initial conversation, then you're failing in building, you're leaving that opportunity up to chance to build trust. Whereas when you bake it into the system, when you bake it into the process, it really, I cannot tell you how much of a game changer that is in terms of an experience for the agent and the client. So if you're working with somebody and you haven't had that initial consultation, say, hey, you know what? I heard about this. Let's hit pause. Let's meet for coffee. Let's meet at the next home and just go over exactly what it is you provide, your qualifications, and let's go exactly over what I'm wanting in an agent.
And if a new agent is listening right now and they need help establishing that kind of resume or profile online where people can look at reviews, you guys can help them with that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, we specialize in that. We have programs where we bring agents on. We take them through an onboarding process where we teach them all about contracts, marketing, everything that we do. We like to say we provide agents their business in a box, but I'm going to start changing that. We provide agents with a fighter jet because everybody, business in a box, okay, you think you can just pull things out of the box and use it. But if I were to give you, Matt, a fighter jet and said, here you go ahead, fly it whenever you want, this is your jet, you'd be like, how do I use this?
Right.
How do I even turn the thing on? How do I get in?
Get it up off the ground.
Yeah, I don't know how to use this. Thank you, but how do I use this? And so we provide our agents with the suite of tools that are very easy to use, but if you don't know how to use them and if you're not trained on the different techniques and tactics that we have, then it's just going to sit in the hangar. So anyways, so that is the number one reason why buyers lose out on their offers is trust. That's the number one reason why sellers leave money on the table is trust. How many times, Val, have we said, hey, this is what the appraiser said the house is worth. This is what the comps show the house is worth. But the sellers are like, thank you for your input, but we're going to list it for 10% more.
All the time.
All the time.
Yep.
And here's a fact in today's reality is that you cannot, it's very literal, like literally you cannot underprice a home. It is virtually impossible. With the advent of the internet, with the marketing that at least we do on the Made for More team, you cannot underprice a home. We've literally priced homes at 50% of what their retail value is, and we get them that value.
You know, I think there's more to that topic. Let's discuss that a little bit more in the next segment, how you cannot underprice a home.
Absolutely.
Let's do that. You're listening to the Made for More Living show with Johnny Jennings and Valary Jennings. All right, so maybe you're listening to our conversation today and it's stirring some thoughts of you possibly selling your home, but you're thinking, man, I've got these home improvement projects that have to be done before my home is ready to be put on the market. Here's some good news. Johnny Jennings, the host of this show, and his team over at the Tom Daves Real Estate team, they have this program to help you get those home improvement projects done, even if you don't have the time or the money. So all you got to do is go to tomdaves.com, type in your address, and bam, you'll get all that information. TomDaves.com, or you can call 855-TOM-DAVES.
This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Did you know that it is virtually, disclaimer there, virtually impossible to underprice a home in today's market?
Virtually. What do you mean by underprice a home? Let's clarify that. By the way, he's Johnny Jennings, his beautiful wife, Valary Jennings, joining us on the show today. What do you mean by that? Clarify. You can never underprice a home.
Underprice a home.
Virtually.
Virtually, yeah. Air quotes, virtually. Underprice a home meaning you price a home below market value to where it sells for less than market value. So a lot of people, when they're selling a home, they're worried about leaving money on the table. They want to get top dollar. Understandably so. And so they'll overprice the home. They'll go, 5, 10, maybe even 15% above what the market is showing because they figure, hey, somebody's going to come in and negotiate a lower price. And so we want to have that cushion built in. And so they overprice the home. Virtually, compare that to pricing a home very competitively, maybe 5, 10, 15% under market value. That is typically the smarter way to go because it creates this just energy around the home, a lot of interest in the home. Those are the homes where when you see an open house sign on a Saturday that there's a line outside the home around the corner. Those are homes that have been priced aggressively. But a lot of sellers are afraid to do that because, again, they're afraid they're going to leave money on the table.
Well, it's the same what Black Friday used to be about back in the day when a store like Best Buy or Mervyn's used to have their doorbuster item. Like you can get a TV for $99 and it would draw a huge crowd. Obviously, once they entered the store, they were going to buy a lot more than that.
Yep.
But the store used that to draw attention, draw a crowd, draw customers. And that's kind of the same mentality is you're trying to price it in a way that's going to draw interest and attention. Because if it's overpriced, you got zero interest, you got zero offers.
Yep.
You can always say no to the offer if it's too low.
Correct.
Right.
And so that's exactly the point. So what ends up happening is if you overprice the home, it's crickets. You don't hear anything, and then you start adjusting the price, and then you do another price adjustment and another price adjustment, and now you've opened yourself up to this concept of, hey, why has the home been on the market so long? Mm-hmm. Why have they done so many price adjustments? Like there's a stigma to the home. So when you finally do get an offer, they're the only offer you've had in so many days. You're so excited. It's a little bit lower than what you wanted, but hey, you're willing to go with it. So you accept the offer. And then the request for repairs comes out. They do their investigations. They inspect the roof, the home, the, what's the other thing? Roof, home, and pest. Yeah. The roof, home, and pest inspections. And now they have all this information, all these reports. And they're like, hey, you know what? I know we came in a little bit low, but turns out we need some more money because there's all these things wrong with the home. And you're thinking, man, I didn't budget for this. The home is worth more than this, but this is the only offer we've had in so long. I might as well take this because this is better than nothing. And we really want to buy this other home and move on with our life. And so you end up selling the home for less than you would have if you would have priced it aggressively out the gate. And what it seems to me that most people get caught up in is they compare it to selling a car, right? So like you put a car on Craigslist, you put a car on the internet, and you're waiting to sell it. Well, the amount of exposure a car gets on, like, if you're selling it for sale by owner rather than just trading it in, is way less than if you go with a quality real estate agent, right? Our team invests somewhere around $500,000 a year in marketing. And so if you're investing $500,000 a year in marketing, what is that? What type of exposure does that buy you as a home seller? And so that's why it's virtually impossible to underprice a home.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, I think it is a hard mindset shift for sellers, because they're like, well, why would I underprice my home? Like the fear is legitimate.
This is their home. Yeah,
exactly. So just understanding that it's not, you're not alone. That's not a fear that, you should feel irrational in having. But it is, we're just telling you strategies that work, that like actually achieve results in the market. And it's not overpricing the home, because then you only have one buyer to negotiate with. If you price your home correctly or even a little bit under, then you have multiple buyers that you're negotiating with, and you have the control and the balls in your court as the seller.
Oh my gosh. So for example, there's a home, I think this one was in Elk Grove, right? We priced it. Again, there's such a stigma when a seller hears you say, hey, you priced the home low, you left money on the table, right? It's because people are only selling a home every 7 to 15 years, whereas we're selling homes every couple of days, okay? And so just keep in mind, this is the right thing for the client. So we priced the home to sell. We did not leave any money on the table. We got multiple offers. What was it, the first weekend on the market?
Yep.
And now that when the seller came when the buyers came at our seller and said, hey, we've done all our inspections and this is what we found, we need to do a price, we need some concessions. What did they come at us with? Like,
it was like $17,000. Yeah.
$17,000 that they wanted our seller to slash the price. And we're like, no, we have multiple. We have a signed backup offer. Like, somebody's ready to go if you guys decide you're not interested. And our seller said, hey, you know what? It's worth it to me. These things I do want to get resolved just to make sure that it's a good transaction. And so he concessed to about
a couple grand. Yeah,
a few grand. And so right there, by pricing your home aggressively, not only did you sell your home quickly, not only did you get top dollar, but you hedged against a $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 loss, right? And so this is not theory. We're not making this stuff up. We do this for a living. And what we're saying is from experience. And so if you're thinking about selling your home and your seller is saying, hey, let's start high, and your agent saying, hey, let's start high, and if we need to come down, we can do that, you might want to consider getting a second opinion. Compare that to if your agent is saying, hey, this is our marketing plan. This is proven. We've sold so many houses. We have so many 5-star reviews. Our method works. You have to trust that agent. Like, just go out on a leap of faith and trust that agent. And at the end of the day, it's your house, your rules.
Right.
So if that offer comes in that you're like, hey, this is not good enough for my family, you don't have to accept it. But at least you had that offer coming in.
Right.
So, by the way, change subject just a little bit. Matt, is your Christmas stuff still up in your house?
My Christmas stuff? My Christmas stuff is there's always something that's still up, because we celebrate Christmas year round. My wife listens to Christmas music on the 4th of July. She has this little Charlie Brown window decoration that has been up since before last Christmas, never taken it down. It's like year round window decor. We've got this little floor mat or a doormat in our front yard. So she loves Christmas. So aside from that, the Christmas lights are down, the Christmas tree is down, the wrapping paper has been put away and thrown away. So
we see some funny stuff in houses. But our Christmas. So literally, I was driving home the other day, and Valerie was in the car, and she's like, oh my gosh, the neighbor still has the nutcracker in their front yard. And I was like, Valerie, we still have our Christmas wreath on the front door.
Do you?
Yeah. I forget, because we never go in that door.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we still have the
people
Christmas
either
tree.
Look at that and think, man, those people are just lazy. What are they doing? Or they think, you know what? Good for them. God bless them. They just want to celebrate. Those must be fun people.
Yeah, we're the fun Christmas people.
Unless your Christmas decor is out in the front lawn and it's just been destroyed by the rain and the storm and it's laying down, and you're like, come on, let's clean that up. COVID, people put their Christmas lights on. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't
to cheer
talk
the
to
mood
the
of the community.
Yeah.
like our
cute.
communication with people.
Yeah.
Blink on and off your Christmas lights to let us know you're alive.
Something that we're seeing in homes too, that it's just funny to me that, so typically when we meet somebody, whether it's work or otherwise, regardless of the situation, they walk us through their home. You don't have to walk a real estate agent through your home.
Why not?
You're certainly but they're like
in a friend situation.
Like in a friend situation, they're like walking us through, and I'm like, you don't have to show me your closet. Like we're just hanging out. Let's watch the football game,
right.
But in doing
this is
that,
where my son learned to walk.
This is where my son
10
learned
years
to walk.
ago.
Hey, our room's a mess. I know, but just look past it. I know you guys can look past it. You're real estate agents, so they're just showing us stuff. But through all that, we see a lot of funny things. Mm-hmm. Val, what's something that stands out to you?
Well, one of the things that came up that we were talking about, because it's like we go into different houses separately, and so we're sharing stories, right? And one of the things that we've found is really making, it's having a trending appearance in a lot of homes is it started with squatty potties, and now it seems like everyone's into bidets recently.
Wait, what is a squatty potty?
It's the little thing that you set.
I cannot wait for Valary to describe this.
Is this something that's like part of the home?
No. It's like a $10 thing you can buy on the internet. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like a little stand or you put your feet up on it while you're going to the bathroom. So
wow.
But I remember when they were first coming out, it was like here and there, but now it's like a lot of people, so if you have a squatty potty, you're listening
now I know
to
what to get you guys for Christmas.
No. We have a squatty potty. But they're almost like standard in houses now.
And now a lot of people are having bidets installed in their home upgrades.
Installed on their toilets and, in every room of the house.
Is this the thing that cleans you after you go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay.
It scares me a little bit when I go into somebody else's house that has a bidet because I'm afraid to push the wrong button.
Oh, for sure.
I do not know.
Don't push
this
it.
is like a space toilet, and I don't know what to do.
You would make a mess. Yeah.
So
that's funny.
Anyway, just a lot of fun stuff.
Does that create more value in the home? Do you put that on the listing?
No.
Like, has a bidet? Whoa, honey, put an offer in today. Let's do this.
Put an offer in today. The house has a bidet. Is the squatty
potty included in the home, or are you guys taking that with you?
It's personal property.
Right.
No,
man.
Personal pet peeve, and we learned this from our original broker, first broker ever, was in the photos, close the toilet lid. I do not know how many agents are keeping the toilet lid up. That is just so unprofessional.
Not classy.
Not classy. You know what is classy?
That's your African proverb for today.
Yeah.
Put the toilet lid down.
Put the toilet lid down. So thank you so much for listening to the Made for More Living podcast. I am Johnny Jennings, and my wife, Valary Jennings, is here on the show, and we look forward to hearing you or seeing you.
Or talking to you.
Talking to you next week.
All the above.
All the above.